Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Omid Zareh. I've been coming to these things since I was 12 years old. And it's good to see people here, hopefully for better things. I'm a New Yorker. I've got a family of my own. I've got children of my own. I practice law in Manhattan. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm a member of my community. I try to give back to my community whenever I can. And when I was 12, the Soviets killed my father and 268 other people. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes today about him. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes today about Korean Airlines 007 and the people that were taken from us. My father's name was Daryush Zareh. He went by David Zareh. My dad was born in Iran. He was born into poverty, along with everybody else in town. And he was an entrepreneur. He was a businessman. He very quickly in the 1950s and 60s found that he could import goods into Iran. And he got along with people cross-culturally, and he was terrific at business across different areas. He learned to speak English on his own. He learned to speak other languages on his own. He had this wonderful ability that I now see in my daughter. And he fell in love with the United States. In the 1960s, he determined, my father made the decision that the family would be moving to the United States. He was going to have an American child. That was me. And we moved to the US. And God, he loved this country. He loved capitalism. He loved entrepreneurism. He loved democracy. He loved figuring things out. He loved the fact that he could do what he wanted. And so, at the age of 12, I learned a lot from him about keeping your word and being tough and doing the right thing, even though it was uncomfortable to do the right thing. So in August of 1983, he took yet another trip to South Korea to import medical goods for his business in the United States. He left on Korean Airlines 007. He sent me a postcard from Alaska. That was the last time we spoke to him. And the jet drifted into Soviet territory. The jet was, of course, shot down. And at first, the Soviets lied to us. I mean, the Soviets lied to us throughout the endeavor. But at first, they said that the jet was safe on Sakhalin Island. I was 12 years old. Of course, they didn't contact us. Nobody contacted us. This was on CNN. So for the first couple of days, CNN was telling me my dad was alive and he's just, safe on an island somewhere that we can't talk to him. A few days later, after the Reagan administration, and it was Ronald Reagan and Jeane Kirkpatrick, accused them of barbarism, of massacre. Ronald Reagan actually called the flight the Korean Airlines massacre. And when it became incredibly difficult for them to lie that way, they lied a different way. They then said that the flight was on an intelligence mission, and that the 269 civilians that were on that plane were on some kind of intelligence mission to gather intelligence information. I found it very ironic that the KGB was trying to accuse my father of being on an intelligence mission. So, the good news is that the Soviets were very quick to point out what happened. I was 12 years old when the crash occurred. And it was the night before my contracts exam in law school that they released the black boxes, right? So the crash occurred in 83. In 92, they released the black boxes because they cared, because it was important for them to reach out to us, right? And it was even worse than we had thought. It wasn't just a massacre. It wasn't just an act of barbarism, as Ronald Reagan said. It was torture. The black boxes revealed somewhere between 90 seconds and 12 unimaginable minutes of just torture. And we've all had to live with that. Every one of the families has had to live with torture, massacre, barbarism. The consequences of what we've had to go through is what I'd like to end on a little bit. I lost my father. So for me, it's very much about growing up alone, not having the mentorship that I ought to have had, seeing my children with the same sense of humor and wit that my father had, and I can't connect those. But there are parents who've lost children who can't celebrate. There are spouses who have to go through alone, anxiety. What am I going to do? How am I going to do? Can I do it alone? So there are two things I'd like to end on. Number one, we owe it to the people that we loved to call out the truth. Massacres, barbarism, cruelty, torture. The rule of law must go on. You shouldn't manipulate black boxes or hold on to black boxes. The motto is justice delayed is justice denied, right? Safety delayed, safety denied. My God, is there any justification for holding on to black boxes for a decade when the families can have a little bit of comfort? So the first thing I ask is call out the truth, please. Second, and I'm talking to the relatives here. Many of you understand when I say a run of your relatives will say goodbye, and the back of your mind will say, oh my God, when are they coming back? Is this the last time? So to you, to my compatriots, I say, it'll be okay. To those of you who, I'm going to a family event and I wish he was here, I wish she was there, I wish she could, it'll be okay. I've been where you are. I'm about to celebrate, if I could use that word incorrectly, 40 years. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're not alone. The people in this room are here to make sure. And if you have a child who wants to talk, if you have a spouse who wants to talk, please let our community know that we're here for one another. Finally, I wanted to thank the organizers here. I wanted to thank the invitation. It's an honor. Thank you very much.